There's a lot of filmmakers out there whose movies are usually not always easy to find. Like you can barely find like any of them at like a DVD place. The reason why I'm saying this is because those type of filmmakers are like more independent. Like a lot of them have barely had any like true DVD release. I mean they probably had like they were probably released on like a different region, but on like the traditional like region 1 DVD, it has never they've never been truly released. And if you find them on like Amazon, they're like, they can sometimes be like over like $99. It's fucking ridiculous, I know, but there's this one filmmaker that I'm truly trying to get into more, but I can barely find any of his movies anywhere else. This filmmaker, Gregg Araki, is a cult filmmaker. He's made a ton of like independent films. Most of them revolve around like the LGBT subculture, but they appeal to mostly art house fans such as myself. But his movies most of them like revolve around teen angst and the world going to shit and whatnot. He's a really interesting guy. He's actually appeared on an episode of Amoeba Music, that show in which celebrities go into the Amoeba record store in Los Angeles, and they tell them what they found or bought, and it's a pretty cool show, and he was on it. These are two movies that I own of him. I've bought these a few years ago from different places. Actually, these two are a part of his so-called Teen Apocalypse trilogy. There's another one that I'm on the lookout for. It's called Totally Fucked Up, but that's another rare film that I can't find at any store. But these are the last two of that trilogy. He's made other movies. His other movies are The Living End, Mysterious Skin, and one that came out in 2010 called Kaboom, which is another. Those other movies are pretty obscure, but I'm still on the lookout for them. But these two, like I said, they are a part of the Teen Apocalypse trilogy. This is the second film of the trilogy, called The Doom Generation. It's it's about these two misfits. They're these lovers. It's kind of it's a bit like Natural Born Killers. They go on the road and they find themselves in the shittiest situations. And it's really trippy. It's really sort of surreal, and really it's not for everyone. It has a lot of violence in it. There's a lot of violence and sex and drug use, but it's really awesome. I strongly recommend it. And this is the last part of that trilogy. Nowhere is it has a really strange cast of it's I'm probably not going to get into. I'm not going to get into too much detail, but I've had this since I was in 8th grade, and what I saw was pretty awesome. And his the thing that Araki's movies have in common is the music in it. Most of the music on his soundtracks have usually mixed between industrial and dream pop and sort of ambient, sort of mid 90s new wave and Britpop and whatnot. Like Nowhere is actually the one that has like the most music in it, and like the soundtrack album which I actually used to own, has like an eclectic. It has like bands like Catherine Wheel, uh, Elastica. A few like British musicians like Radiohead is on it, and also bands like 311, Marilyn Manson, and his other band that I really like called the London Suede. I have 3 albums of that band. It's a really awesome group. I seriously recommend that one. And I recommend this movie because the soundtrack is awesome. The music in the Doom Generation is awesome as well, but Nowhere has like basically a lot of songs. And a lot of songs actually do not appear on the soundtrack album. Like there's like music from Sonic Youth, Nine Inch Nails, Cocteau Twins, I think, was part of the music. And their song, and the appears in that film. Their song, Love is Stronger Than Hate. Or no, Love is Stronger Than Death. I have that album, which has that song on it, the album. And that song is really cool, but it does not appear on the Nowhere soundtrack, but it does appear at like the end of the movie. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to give too much away. But and there is like another band that appeared in the movie but not on the official soundtrack, and it's this one. So this is a band called The Future Sound of London, and this is their debut album called ACCELERATOR. It's released under Hypnotic Records, a division of Cleopatra Records. And their song Papua New Guinea, I don't know how to say it, but their song, actually no, they're the Graham Massey remix, which is the bonus track on this album. That's the version that appears in the movie. So anyway, Future Sound of London, they're kind of like a mix between like electronic, sort of like Chemical Brothers and Massive Attack type electronic, and like a little bit of Aphex Twin, ambient. They're sort of like they're also like Boards of Canada, another group that I really like. And they're this band is like really awesome to listen to. This particular album is so like relaxing. It's like when you go into like a record store and they're playing like a random like sort of like electronic music and like and but it's like it's pretty awesome. But it's like something you would hear at like one that's being played at like a record shop or stuff like that. But anyway, so this band, they're usually called FSOL, abbreviated as that. So yeah, they're kind of like, I found this particular album at Half Price Books in Skokie, and only for like $2. And like that's kind of how I recognized, the band name. Although they have appeared in other shit, but I mean they're, so I guess you can say that they're not like particularly obscure, but they're not exactly the most well-known band, like according to most traditional music. But they've been around since like the early 90s. Like this album was released in 1992, and like I said, it's their debut album, and like they got like a really weird cover, it's like but anyway, so it's like one of those things like when you're like when you like want to relax, if you're like not in the mood for any like too much hard rock, and if like this is like definitely the album to listen to when you're not in the mood to listen to anything else. Just put it on your stereo and just like sit back and just like take a lot of shit off your mind. I mean, like as a hard rock fan though, I like to I mostly I like I said, I like to expand my horizons, and this is a definite album. Like I said, it's a definite album to listen to take shit off your mind, and like just it's like it's actually even better to. It's like some shit that you would hear on like the radio at after 11, or even like after midnight. It's like that after dark type of music. Because like it's like I said, they're electronica. And they actually used to do that shit on like Q101. I'm not sure if they do that anymore, but they used to like have this thing where they play like electronica music on like Saturday nights, like at like late 11 p.m. on Saturdays. But yeah, and that's like the perfect time to listen to that kind of shit, to this particular album. Because like it's relaxing, dark, cool late night, and nothing else to do. That's kind of what this particular band is for. They're, but I'm not sure if they're like still together. But I'm pretty sure that you could still find like some of their albums on either like Amazon or like any actual record store, or you can like stream it. Like I said, I don't prefer to stream music. I prefer to have the actual album. But like I said, the song Papua New Guinea. That's what appears in the movie Nowhere. And if you're into like Boards of Canada or Aphex Twin or any other like electronica or in like ambient type shit, I would seriously give this band a go. I would seriously recommend this one. It's an awesome band, and I really, yeah, and if you see it anywhere, just pick it up. And I strongly recommend it. And if you see it, just purchase it and see what you think. Future Sound of London. Their debut album, Accelerator, released in 1992 under Hypnotic Records. Thanks for watching.